"Mum, Dad, meet my boyfriend." She said it with such ease, light, musical, and full of pride. I was still holding the housewarming gift, a bottle of red wine wrapped in gold foil, already sweating in my hands. My smile faded the moment I looked past her. There they sat on the old velvet couch, side by side, hands clasped together like a posed photograph. Bare, eyes cloudy and glacier stared ahead and blinking. Their skin was pale with a waxy sheen. The smell hit me in the same moment, faintly chemical, like preserved flowers and old leather, but tainted with something sour beneath. "Babe," I said, voice tight, what is this?" She turned to me with a proud little smile, one hand brushing her strawberry blonde hair behind her ear. "I told you I'm close with my parents." Figures her parents, she claimed, were dressed up like they were expecting guests. Her mom wore a floral blouse, earrings that shimmered faintly in the dim lighting. Her father had on a gray tweed jacket with elbow patches, piss tie, crooked, like someone had tried but didn't quite know how to knot it right. Their mouths were frozen in disturbing grin. "Not," Smiles Grin's lips pulled back too tightly. "Poor. To dry." Her father's lips had cracked at the corner. I thought you said they passed away," I muttered. "They did," she said calmly, walking over to adjust her mother's collar. "But they didn't want to leave me. So I kept them here. And now they get to meet you." I dropped the wine bottle. It landed with a dull thud on the carpet. She knelt down between them, resting one hand on each of theirs. "They're happy now. They weren't at first, of course. They didn't understand me. They called me selfish. But love makes you do hard things." I took a shaky step backward toward the front door. My eyes scanned the room for signs of sanity. A photograph, maybe. A clue. Something to prove that what I was seeing wasn't real. That this was a prank. A twisted, elaborate joke. But on the mantel above the fireplace sat a framed photo. The same couple. Alive, beaming with joy. The difference was striking. In the photo, they looked warm, human, not like this, not like these posed husks. "Did you do this yourself?" I asked, my voice hoarse. She looked up at me, smiling. "I learned from books, a few online forums, trial and error." "You're not serious," I said, fumbling for the doorknob. My fingers grazed it and found it unmoving. "Why don't you stay for dinner?" she said sweetly, rising from the couch. "I made stew, just like Mom used to make. I need to go now." Her smile didn't fade, but her eyes hardened. "You haven't even sat down yet," she said. "They'll be so hurt." I turned and yanked at the knob. It wouldn't budge. I glanced around. The windows were covered in lace curtains, thick ones, nailed shut. She was closer now, still calm. "You're part of the family now." She led me by the wrist, gently but firmly, to the dining room. The table was set for 4. Candles flickered, bowls steamed. The 2 taxidermied figures had been moved. They were now seated at the table. "They don't talk much," she whispered as we sat, "but they listen. That's what's important." I stared down at the stew. Floating in the oily broth was a chunk of something I couldn't name. Looked up. Her father's dead grin hadn't changed, but I could swear his eyes had shifted slightly. Just a millimeter. Just enough. I didn't blink. Neither did he. Later that night, long after I pretended to eat, long after I lied and told her I was flattered, long after she kissed me, goodnot, I tried the door again. Still locked. I looked around. No phone. No reception. No exits. Just the soft, muffled sound of something being dragged down the hall. I peeked out into the dark. She was moving one of them again. Her mother, I think, repositioning her in the hallway, standing upright near the guest room, like a watchful guardian, waiting. I haven't seen the sun in 3 days. Bistu keeps coming. She talks to me sweetly now, tells me how patient I've been, how understanding, how perfect. She has new books on the table, leather-bound, old. I see sketches, muscle, skin, stitch patterns, taxidermy guides. She tells me that true love is preservation, that letting someone go is the cruelest thing you can do. She tells me I'll always be with her forever. And today she took my measurement. She brought me downstairs today. The basement wasn't what I expected. Not a dark, concrete cellbot, almost tender. Painted walls in soft pastels. Strings of fairy lights. A dusty crib in the corner. A rocking horse. Things that didn't belong here. Things meant for a child. She smiled like it was a nursery. "For when we're ready," she said, brushing a blanket with her hand. "Mum and Dad were old-fashioned. Be wood, but you'll stay, so they don't have to worry any more." There were jars on the shelves. Some held glass eyes. Others tiny skeletal hands curled in fetal positions. I asked her where she got them. She just kissed me on the cheek. I tried to move one of them last night. Her father, I thought maybe if I could knock him over, crack him open, see if he was still human, I could remind her of reality, show her the truth. But the moment I touched him, I heard her voice behind me, cold, steady. "Don't. You'll break him." She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just stood there with a hammer in her hand. "I preserved him. For you, too," she said, stepping closer. "For this moment. So you could see what commitment means." Then, slowly, like she'd done it 100 times, she laid the hammer down, walked over, and whispered into her father's ear. "I forgive him, Dad. He's scared, but he'll learn." She turned to me and smiled again. "I learned. They say when a person is preserved, their smile is the hardest part. Too tight, and it's grotesque. Too loose, and it falls apart. But she's practiced. She's perfected it. I know, because I'm wearing one now. I sit between her parents every evening, dressed in a suit I never owned, bow tie, polished shoes, stiff hands resting on my knees. And every night she sits across from us and tells us about her day, about the soup she made, the dream she had, the new man she met at the grocery store. And she always ends with the same words. "I think you'll like him." She turns to me, straightens my tie. "Mom, Dad, meet my boyfriend." And I smile. Because I have to.